I am delighted to see this face again so soon. I hope that she comes around all the time. Elle Duncan, someone at ESPN that Zaslow is not feuding with and has never said anything bad about. I wanted to talk to her because I've been negligent in this first hour of, like, this was a bit of a devastating injury last night. I mean, not a bit of, like, when everyone's watching the sport and the best player in it, Juju Watkins, goes down with a knee injury and gets carried off the court, March Madness becomes like, how am I supposed to talk about and feel about all that? That just stinks. That's just a body breaking down, and I wanted to watch her win everything because I know she can. So anyways, Elle, thank you for being on with us. And the heartbreak in that. How did that go down last night?
Well, it was really brutal. Probably TMI, but I was in the bathroom and, I'm still wearing my IFB. We do have to take pee breaks. And I had my IFB in and I thought I lost the broadcast because it was silent. And I was like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden I started getting text messages. I'm like trying to furiously wash my hands. My producer's like, get back to the studio. Juju just went down. It's bad. It looks really bad. And I was like, what? And so I run into the studio and you guys, the studio, which is normally, especially with Shanae and Andrea, it's so joyful, so loud, like we're yelling, we're reacting. It matched the silence of the Galen Center. It was like everyone was just sort of in a little bit disbelief. From what we do, from a professional level, it's devastating because it's Juju Watkins, because we wanted this Elite Eight rematch with UConn, because to your point, like she's going to be the National Player of the Year and they're ahead of schedule. On a personal level, it's devastating because of everything that Juju's given to the game, how hard she's worked, choosing to go to a USC program that a lot of people scratch their head, like, why? They haven't been relevant since Lisa Leslie. And she strapped her city on her back. Like, she made LA a basketball town again. And she just to see that happen in the way that it happened, to see someone who is so famously unemotional, like she puts up a 30-piece, no emotion, like no, to see her screaming in pain and writhing on the ground, it was horrific and devastating, and it absolutely changed the entire tenor of the tournament. It did.
Okay, so you're offering a lot of context there that I want to follow up on because of how this story hurts. The connection specifically to USC. Walk us through the history of all of that, culturally, generationally, what that program means to those people and what it means to have this player, this hope go down like that.
Yeah, I mean, she has like she has a giant mural in the city of LA. When she chose USC, she actually, on her signing day or her announcement day, whatever you call it, she actually came on SportsCenter and talked to me. And I've, in a very soft way, kind of asked her that same thing that I just said, which is like, okay, I mean, I get it. You're from LA, but like, you're the #1 prospect in the country. Everyone wanted you. Why not go team up with UConn? Why not go to South Carolina? And she was so adamant that her entire goal was to, in her own backyard, make basketball relevant again, to make that USC program a powerhouse like it was in the early 90s before she was born. Like she wasn't born when Lisa Leslie was doing what she was doing at USC. And when we talked with Lindsay Gottlieb last year at the Final Four after they lost to UConn in the Elite Eight, I was like, I know that you knew Juju was a prize, but did you know that she would get your program here this quickly? And she was like, no, I didn't know it would happen so fast. Like she thought it would take some time and maybe some transfers that would get them there. And she has made, like, I've talked to LA friends who are like, LA is buzzing with basketball at a college level, right? You're always gonna have the Lakers and sometimes the Clippers, but at a college level, like with UCLA being a powerhouse again, and with USC and Juju, she's the face of basketball. And she has strapped that city on her back, and they love her so much for everything that she's done. I mean, USC has become, the place to go watch games. We see every super megastar. We just saw Jaden Daniels there. It's just incredibly disappointed to see it go down like this. You lose on the court, you get out battled, fine. But like to see their chances suffer greatly because of what happened is just, it sucks. I can't come up with a better way to.
I believe that's a good way to clip that there. It just sucks. I can't come up with a better way to say that. And then she cuts out. But that's a good way to describe it. We could use a lot of words, but those two work.
Yeah, Elle, you talked about, USC's chances. I want to get to that in a second because they are still a 1 seed, and Kiki Iriafen obviously is one of the best post players in the country, and she had a really great game after Juju went out last night. But this is unfortunately such a common thing in women's sports to see knee injuries. It's happened to other great players right before the tournament. Liz Kitley comes to mind, Olivia Miles obviously, and it really impacted both of those teams' chances of winning a national title. What do you think will happen next? I mean, there's obviously a tough matchup in the Sweet 16 round for USC now against a really good Kansas State team that just got some of their players back from health stuff. So do you still see them making a deep tournament run?
So I do think they can beat K-State. We talked about this yesterday. Like, what does this USC team look like without Juju? Because they haven't had to experience that. She averages 35 minutes a game. So they basically play 5 minutes a game without her. And so I do think it's going to force, I mean, listen, it's still USC. Like, they still have Talia Van Oelhoffen, who transferred there, Kiki Iriafen, who you mentioned had a career high. And I do think that there was definitely a galvanizing sort of moment for them yesterday. And having her back, we heard Lindsay Gottlieb talk about that. But ultimately, like, to be honest with you, Jess, like, I didn't think that USC was going to get past UConn with Juju, just because, like, if you've watched UConn play the last 2 games, like, I'm not sure anybody's going to beat UConn if they keep playing that way. But I do see them getting to an Elite Eight. It just obviously changes the entire scope of that matchup if Juju's not in it. They're going to have to lean on everybody else, but she's going to be National Player of the Year for a reason. And we saw what happened for UConn when Paige was out. I do think really quickly too, though, like, life sometimes is really interesting. The ironic symmetry of, on a day that Paige Beckers played her last game in Stores and tied a career high after what she's been through and her devastating injuries too, that we then see the same exact thing happen to Juju. Like, it just, I hope that is in some way inspiration for Juju, that you can suffer these really great setbacks, but then you can come back better than ever. I mean, Paige hasn't missed a beat, and she's going to be the number 1 overall pick. But it's, you know, I don't see them making it past UConn either way, honestly.
I was about to say the same thing, actually. Going from Paige giving the interview in Stores, and then Gino talking about Paige's legacy, and then it happened like 5 minutes into the next game. It was the last game of the second round. It was really kind of strange to see. So, I mean, obviously it's still early. We don't exactly know the nature of the injury, but, like, you would say we probably will see Juju Watkins back 2026, 2027 season?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it really just depends, right? Like, for Paige Beckers, when she tore the meniscus in her knee, it was in the summer. And so she did miss that entire season because of it. I don't know how USC is going to play it. You know, if there is any blessing, it's that it happened in early March and maybe not in the summer as they were doing their off-season training. I don't know if you say, let's medical redshirt her, right? Like, she's only 19 years old. She's not eligible to go to the WNBA draft until she's 22 years old anyway. So I don't know. You certainly don't want to cause any long-term damage for someone who we believe is going to be one of the greatest players of all time if she projects the way that she is now. But yes, I would say the getting used to a life potentially without Juju next season would be a fair assessment.
I'm wondering, and I don't know if this is overly simplistic, but or reactionary because of whatever the emotion of the moment is. But what level of unsatisfying is this going forward, or what needs to happen in terms of storylines to take the pall off of what had felt like a giant celebration and a coronation at a time where we know more of the women players than we do the men in college basketball?
It's true. I tried to say this to someone last night. I was like, imagine if on the men's side, if they lost Cooper Flagg in the same way, right? Like, it would change the enthusiasm for the tournament in some way. The good news for us is that while Juju is one of the faces of women's basketball and will be National Player of the Year, we do still have really great storylines. We have Notre Dame, who has the best backcourt in the country, finally sort of figuring it out and rounding into form. We have TCU. Haley Van List's story is amazing. TCU's story is amazing. I know they're not like a major open. They couldn't even field a roster. They were horrible. And now they're headed to their first Sweet 16. And people made fun of Haley for choosing TCU. Like, wow, that's great. What a basketball powerhouse. And to see her story, like that's still a story. We still have South Carolina, right? Like trying to to be back-to-back champs for the first time since UConn did it. And then we still have UCLA, like who is a huge program. Again, sort of a return to prominence, a return to glory, if you will, looking for their first Final Four. So if there is any blessing, it's that this happened last night. It gives us a few days to compartmentalize and process. And then we sort of get to look ahead to the Sweet 16, which is still rife with storylines. Yes, like, did I want an Elite Eight that was going to put up enormous numbers personally as someone that like benefits from that at ESPN? Yes, but we do still have a lot of meat on that bone.
I would like to, Elle, because I remember when soon after we met, you had mentioned that you loved my brother's artwork and that you loved what I did with my father. And we did see or no on Highly Questionable. And I'm just wondering if I can get you to play with us the game in honor of See or No, Elle Yes or Elle No.
Hell yeah.
Okay, you're gonna. Okay, so
you
Elle,
know,
no,
you know I'll
didn't-
fund my name,
wait,
Dan. You know I love to fund my name.
Yeah, but you didn't even play it right off the top. If I said Elle Yes or Elle No, you can't say hell yeah. It's got to be Elle
right.
Yes. Like that's.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
There it is.
All right, Elle Yes or Elle No, ripped jeans.
Ooh, I actually do like ripped jeans. I'm into them. Like my kids have ripped jeans. I think they look cool.
So how do you play the game?
Elle Yes to
Hell
the
yes.
yellow pants that Elle was wearing the other day that I texted her about. Elle, those were phenomenal pants.
Thank you. They're
Not
very
ripped
bright.
jeans, but I
Yeah.
love them.
You guys aren't playing the game correctly.
I just said Elle Yes to her yellow pants.
Hello, yes.
Elle Yes or Elle
Oh
No
my
to
God.
women empowerment.
Hell yes. I feel like
Good.
that's a no-brainer.
Okay, excellent work playing the game
But
incorrectly.
Elle No to Billy.
It's got to be right on the line. It can't mean Elle Yes to, or Elle No to racism. Like, what are you doing?
Dan, Elle No.
Come on, Dan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Although lately in this country, I don't know, kind of up for debate.
Not putting your cart back in the cart corral at the grocery store. Elle Yes or Elle No?
Hell no, it requires no work. It's so rude. Like you're potentially damaging people's cars. Just you've been walking around a grocery store. What is it? I live in Connecticut. It's freezing. It's like 3 degrees and I will still take it to the thing or I'll take it to the front. Like that's so rude and not considerate for everybody else.
Irish goodbye. Elle Yes or Elle No?
Hell yes. Come on. Like I've reached the age where I'm like, do I need to say bye to everyone in the room and make it a whole production? And no, I'm just going to ghost you.
Bringing a Bluetooth speaker to the gym and playing your music out loud. Elle Yes or Elle No?
Okay, as someone that literally carries my little JBL speaker everywhere she goes and forces people to listen to my music, I'm still a hard Elle No because people need different things when they work out and it's not necessarily your trap music.
Signing your emails, cheers. Elle Yes or Elle No?
Elle No. Although the email sign off gives me a lot of anxiety. I never, sincerely or appreciate you or I just kind of do a thanks. But Elle No to the cheers.
Sending your food back at a restaurant. Elle Yes or Elle No?
Elle No. I've worked at too many restaurants. I know what they can do to the food in the back. And also, like, apart from having an allergy to it, I went out to eat with a girl one time who sent her burger back because it came with lettuce on it. Take it off and keep it moving. Like, Elle No.
Buying a woman a drink that she didn't ask for. Elle Yes or Elle No?
Elle No. And ladies, don't ever take that drink because you don't know what's in it. No.
Dan Hurley.
As someone that needs people to wild out for my job, Elle Yes to Dan Hurley and all of the many personalities he has.
Oh, I trapped you. I think I trapped you.
Did you?
Elle Yes or Elle No to LSU upsetting NC State.
Ooh.
Tricked her.
I'll say Elle Yes. I'll say that's tough. I'll say Elle Yes just because they have the experience of being there before. So does NC State, obviously. But I put their big three probably above NC State's.
Elle Yes or Elle No, Jimmy Butler sticks it to the Heat tonight.
Ooh, Elle Yes. Yeah, Elle Yes. I think he's gonna have his Haley Van Lith game, where he's just like, "You didn't want me." I see it.
Elle Yes or Elle No to traveling with your own bar of soap in a container?
Yeah, Elle No. Again, unless you have like some kind of severe and sensitive skin thing, when you put the soap in the container, after it gets wet, it becomes a disgusting petri dish of smush, and it's just what? Just use the use the
What the
soap
hell?
at the hotel. They're fine. Like it's fine.
Elle, I want my soap. All right, I like my brand of soap. I don't want to rely on the hotel that I get set up in Norman, Oklahoma, or in Athens, Georgia. I want my soap. I bring a soap dish.
What's your soap? Like what's your
The
soap?
one
Like,
my
I
wife buys for me.
Okay. Well, unless it's some kind of fancy soap, it's not any better than the crap they have at the hotel. Guaranteed.
The reason I said I trapped you is because you love the content of Hurley, and so I'll leave you with this.
Okay.
Elle Yes or Elle No, Mulkey. Gotcha.
You completely trapped me. I'll say same thing. I like all of the histrionics, and she's so memeable, and she's unapologetically herself. So I guess Elle Yes to all of.
You're gonna separate it. You're gonna separate her personality and her.
See her at the
Unapologetically
Final
Mulkey.
Four, Dan.
It's so
I won't have
hard.
to see Dan Hurley. So yeah, Elle Yes, I love it.
Okay, no, I did something unfair to her, but I'm actually curious how she navigates the labyrinth in these political times as someone who has strong opinions.
She doesn't navigate
Well,
it.
no, I mean, yeah, but the Mulkey thing is hard because you can respect her and also be wildly put off by a lot of other things she does.
Yeah, I would say that yes, there is. I have a great respect for her as a coach and also as a former player, and she gets the best out of her girls. And I never played for her. If you were to believe a lot of the things that came out, that's problematic. But ultimately, I don't know her personally. I do think that she's a historic type of figure in this sport. So, and I love LSU. I love her girls. So it's also hard for me because I think, they love her and I love them. So by proxy, yeah, sure. Yeah. But you do, you have to compartmentalize, and that can be, I don't know her well enough to make a snap judgment on her, but just based on some of the things, yeah, that feels, I had someone say that to me the other day. They were like, you picked Florida to win. I was like, yeah, because I don't know anything about men's basketball. I don't really watch. And they were like, oh, their coach. I was like, what about their coach? And they're like, yeah, there's some headlines. So I Googled and I was like, should I have chose them? But ultimately I think they're a really good team. So that's kind of the journey.
Elle Yes or Elle No, the dap that Mulkey gave that guy that one time coming out of the huddle.
The dap, is that you talking about the clipboard or the real dap?
No, I'm talking about the real dap where she's walking out of the tunnel and there was a guy there and she daps him up very nicely. Elle Yes or Elle No?
Yeah. I mean, I'm into that. I really appreciate.
No, he ruined the game. She
hasn't seen the dap.
I know.
It tells me she hasn't seen the dap.
I know, but
I haven't.
I know, but
Was it an aggressive dap?
It's a
I have not
classic
seen
dap.
it.
No, we need the video team to pull it up so you can see.
Okay, but that would have been
It's
good to
an A1
have,
dap.
right?
But Dan, she covers the league.
Elle, have you seen Tony's
I mean,
jumper?
I don't consume everything that happens in the league. I do have 3 other jobs at ESPN.
I pull up
I'm
something
sorry,
that's classic
Elle,
from Kim Mulkey.
Elle,
All of a sudden, nobody knows
Tone,
about it.
don't get defensive here, Tone.
It's crazy.
Tone, I need you to go to the penalty box and just sit there
How
for
about
a while.
Elle No for Tony? He's on my
Yes,
list
Tony,
this week.
Jesus, go ahead.
Have you seen it, Dan?
Tone.
Are you saying tone or tone like Tony?
Good question.
I can't honestly. I wasn't
He's
sure.
doing that thing. I feel like Jess can feel me on this. He's doing that thing when a dude at the bar finds out you do sports for a living, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, who won the 1937 home run derby?"
No, Tony would
Don't
That is
never
know.
do that.
No,
Baby.
And then-
ever.
and then
Tony?
you don't know.
He said
You
Elle
don't
No to
know,
women's
you're like-
empowerment earlier.
He did.
God, man.
And he hates my dog all of a sudden. I don't know why.
It's-
He's on my list.
Found
I don't
out
have
it's a
time
girl,
for him
right?
this week.
It's he just Elle was on fire there. We were soaring into the sky. And Tony decided at the very end to throw the ball off her face. Hey, Elle, try and pretend that you've seen this thing I'm talking about. Elle, I'm sorry it ended that way. I will try to raise better broadcast professionals.
Okay. We definitely ended on a high note. Can you just give me like one more for the giggles so that we can end on a high note?
Because he ruined it so
Okay, Elle Yes or Elle No. Me bringing my dog to work that everyone loves.
Oh.
Elle Yes. So long as it's not you don't work at a grocery store, right?
You're right. This is not a grocery store.
Then we're good.
Although someone should tell Gino and Jason that.
Elle, good seeing you. Thank you for being on with us. Always delightful.
Always. Please have me back. Love you guys. You're the best.
Thank you.